All right, is everybody good to go?
Yep.
No, are you?
Are you freaking out right now? Is that what's happening?
I've never done this before.
I know you've never done this before. The only other guest that we
That's not
had,
what I was talking
he
about.
was sick.
I've never been on the show before.
Oh my goodness, you've never been on here
First
before.
time, first episode.
Okay. How it's going to go is it's going to go nice and easy and then hard and rough.
All right.
Like me and Channing Tatum.
Welcome back to another episode of the Rum Runnas Podcast, where we drink rum and talk about stuff. I am Jared,
I'm Kyle.
and as you can see, we are joined today by our first guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Cap Cee in the house, DJ Cap Cee.
Yeah. So we are back. A little bit different this week because we are going to be getting to know Cap Cee a little bit, but on top of that, we are still going to be talking about weird and interesting news from all over the internet. I read the clickbait, so you don't have to. Kyle reacts, and Cap Cee's also going to react.
I read it.
Read it from far away.
Sometimes.
Take off your glasses, and then we'll see if you read it. We saw how that
I
went.
can't see.
All right. So why don't we get started with getting to know our guest?
All right.
Where are you from? Let's start with that.
Where am I from? Born and raised in New York.
Awesome.
I was living in Manhattan from 1976 I was born, and then I moved out here in 1992. And just imagine I moved from Manhattan to Emmaus.
That's a culture shock.
That's
right
a culture
there.
shock.
It's like a
and half.
reverse culture shock.
I couldn't sleep for days because it was so quiet.
I had that reaction when I moved here from Jersey.
No, you're Jersey? All right. So it's just kind of like, it was
basically
crazy
PA.
just to be like, it's basically, we're Jersey.
Just across the bridge.
Pillsbury?
Yeah.
You know what? That's when I hear people say, yeah, that's basically PA. That's basically PA.
Except for on their side, Easton is basically Jersey, so it kind of like balances out.
I don't know about that. I think
It's not. We
I
don't
think
like them that much.
Eastonians might be offended by you saying that.
I think nobody really likes Eastonians that much, so everyone's
I
like, you just take
Easton
them.
now. I think I'm a fan of Easton now.
They're getting
cleaned it up.
cool. Yeah, they're getting nicer, so I guess that's kind of like a plus.
They were like the redheaded stepchild for a minute.
yeah, that's or
And
the
then-
redheaded stepchild that killed people. That's
Yeah, that's where you went to get mugged. Now it's where you go for
that's what it
fancy
was.
soup.
Yeah, exactly. If you want some pho or ramen, you got a 2-block walk there, and you got both.
Oh, a lot of good stuff in Easton.
Yeah.
So
So you went to Emmaus from Manhattan.
yes, and it was definite culture shock, but it was kind of funny because I basically went to Emmaus High School. I was a junior, so then I graduated in '94. And what was really funny was the year that I moved, a friend of mine also, we became friends. I didn't know though, but at the time he moved at the same time, and he was from the Bronx,
Oh.
and he was a DJ, and at that time I was a rapper.
Oh.
So it's kind of funny, like we actually met together. His name is actually, here's the funny part, now that we brought up the whole Easton thing. How crazy is this going to form a circle right now?
Okay.
So he's the guy he's the Greek meat guy.
Oh, the Greek meat place. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Greek meat guy.
So that's
Yeah.
my boy Nick.
I love that place. I've eaten there
So-
twice now.
So he moved from New York at the same time I moved. He was a DJ.
DJ.
I was a rapper. We lived a block away from each other. And we used to do
Jeez.
house parties where he would spin and I would rap.
That's fate right
So
there.
like kid and play.
Yeah, basically. It's insane. It's insane.
Did
So
you
that-
have a secret handshake?
No, we did not have a secret.
Oh, come on.
Did you have like a really tall flat fade?
No, I did not have a flat fade. I don't think any of us could have got. He had a fade. I had a fade, but not a flat one, like the whole
okay.
thing. But,
Okay.
but-
And that's actually what I was going to ask you because I heard that you started getting into hip hop with
Yeah.
rapping.
Yeah.
Did you have a different name?
At that time, yes. And how funny that somebody that's kind of famous now has that name. I used to be known as Charlemagne.
Oh my God.
And this is back, yeah. So how weird is that?
I'd be so irritated actually.
So,
'Cause it's not even like he got famous for something different. He got famous for rap.
Yeah, well, for talking crap on rap, but,
True.
but basically,
True.
But the whole thing is just like, yeah, that was my rap name. Back in, I mean, I started rhyming back in like '91 when I was in New York.
Okay.
So
The heyday of hip hop.
And that was my rap name. And then when I came over here, and then I hooked up with two of my boys from Parkland. They were rhyming at the time. It's A1. Shout out to A1 and Kick Magnetic. And what do you call it? They were their own crew, and what was their group called? Figure One. That's right. Damn, I'm thinking about this now. And then I was like,
all the memories.
They were Figure One, and then they heard about me, and we met up, and then we started making songs together, and then we formed a crew called Stick Figures, and then how crazy is it, man? Like my boy won a freestyle competition, and the prize was opening for the Fugees in Easton.
Oh, nice.
Jeez. This is fake. None of this was planned ahead of time. This is literally just so happens.
Yeah, so this is pretty crazy.
Occurring.
Yeah. So, and then the whole rapping thing took off from there. We did a couple of opening gigs for the Fugees. That was right around the time the Fugees just released The Score.
Oh,
which was like their multi-million selling album.
That was that had that thing. And
that had the Fugees Killing Me Softly. Yeah, was on that. All that. So yeah, it was crazy. So like, and we got to see the industry firsthand. Like we were backstage for a lot of those shows and everything. Got to see like a lot of the ups and downs, the craziness. So you get to see all that. But
a lot of people don't know about the music industry, where it's not as glamorous as people make it out to be.
Yeah, sometimes Jason Mraz makes you break your ankle.
Oh my God, stop talking about the Jason Mraz thing.
Who? Jason what?
He was supposed to open for Jason Mraz.
Yes. I haven't actually really talked about this on the podcast, but
I love bringing it up.
So I used to rap. Yeah.
Oh, you used to rap too?
I used to rap back in the day, and the person that I rapped with, he went to Kutztown, and at Kutztown there was like this big concert. Jason Mraz was going to be there, and we were supposed to open. We were supposed to be the main opening act, actually.
For Jason Mraz.
We were like,
rap group for Jason?
Yeah, it was really, really weird.
Okay.
I think it's because we were kind of well known in Kutztown, so they were like, oh, okay, well, if they're gonna, they'll hype the crowd up.
Okay.
And then Jason Mraz will come in and do his I got the poison, I got the remedy thing. So I mean,
that makes me laugh. Kyle, how funny is that? You got to understand, like.
No, I thought it was hilarious.
I'm laughing because I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at you. It's funny because it's like, how ridiculous. Are you hyping up a Jason Mraz crowd?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult.
Like I play Jason Mraz at weddings, and it's just like.
It gets so much better when he explains how he broke his ankle that day.
All right, so how'd you break your ankle? And wait,
he blames Jason Mraz.
I don't blame Jason Mraz anymore.
And get out of here. Like, you just brought this in.
A lot of the reason why I held on to it was for comedic effect, because I saw how much everyone loved it. But what ended up happening was, so we had this all planned. We put together everything, and we practiced for like the night before. We did all this like marketing. And, this is just the normal hustle, like door to door. We were like, I'm opening up for this. Come see the show. Because a lot of people weren't going to go. And then we told all these people they thought we were going to open.
People were not going to go see Jason Mraz?
I mean, all the white ones were. The people that we talked to weren't going to go see Jason Mraz.
Well, I don't really see them going.
So at that point, it was almost like they were paying to come see us perform then.
Okay.
So a lot of people were going to go, and we get there. We're going in. We talked to the people that put it together, and we're like, "Hey, so do you want us to sound check? Do you want to when are we going to go on?" And then they're like, "Oh, we're not going to have an opening act. He's just going to come on." And we're like, "Why is he just going to come on? Like we've been practicing for this for like a month and a half now."
Okay.
Like, did you want to give us we were up until 4:00 in the morning marketing for this, running around in the cold. We're like, "What are you talking about? We're not going on anymore." And they're like, "Yeah." So, he's just going to go on at the scheduled time. And, they said that they don't really need anybody opening up. So we were inside of the gym at the time, and they were like, "All right, so you have to leave," which made no sense because we're like, the performance is upstairs.
Okay.
Not in the gym. And they were like, "Yeah, well, we just don't want you here because you're not using the gym. So you're not using the gym for what it's supposed to be used for." So we're like, "Fine, we'll play basketball." So the thing is, I was just for a performance.
And you were playing basketball.
I was playing basketball in Tim's.
And that's how you broke your ankle.
So a ball was about to go out. I jumped. I swatted for it. And when I swatted for it, my boot hit, stopped, and my body just kept on going.
Oh, God.
And my ankle touched the floor. And I immediately I was just like, and we're done. And we're done now.
Now wait a minute. So
everybody then asked me, they're like, how'd you break your ankle? And I was like, Jason
Mraz.
Mraz.
Wow. Okay.
Completely blame Jason Mraz, because then people would just be like, what did Jason Mraz do to you?
So basically what you're trying to say is that if Jason Mraz gave you the green light to open, there would have never been a basketball game. Your ankle would have been fine.
I never would have messed up my ankle. I missed work because of that ankle injury.
All I'm saying is I've played basketball in boots and I never rolled anything.
You never had Jason Mraz cause it. That's what it is. Jason Mraz. He's the X Factor. He likes to say Jason Mraz made me break my ankle in a basketball game, like I played Jason Mraz.
That would be 10 times better. I was thinking Jason Mraz like tripped you or something. I would have been like,
on you. That would have been You had a Charlie Murphy and Prince situation.
Not quite.
Jason Mraz did a triple-double on me.
Nah. There was no and one. Jason Mraz is not a hustler when it comes to hoops. I don't think.
Let me tell you something about this. The whole fault is whoever told you that you could open for Jason Mraz.
Yes. Technically, yeah. It's totally their fault.
Because it makes no sense. I'm sorry. If anybody came up to me like, yo, can you over? I would be like, no, because that doesn't even fit.
We literally were just like, he's on the radio, so yeah.
So yeah, you were like very like about it. I understand that. That's understandable, but that's too funny for me.
Because we were at that point where like we had to pay for like all of our performances at that time. Like, you know how it is. Like when you're getting started, where they're like, yeah, just so you know, it's gonna be $200. And if you sell enough tickets, then you'll start making the difference. And because it's always on like a Wednesday. And no one wants to go out to like a random club on a Wednesday.
I actually rocked Kutztown.
Really?
Yeah, so Kutztown in their this was like 96, 97. Mm-hmm. They had De La Soul come out.
Oh, De La Soul.
And they had Blase Blase come out.
Okay.
And I actually got on stage with Blase Blase, and I rocked the crowd with them and stuff. Then we went to an after party at one of the frat houses, and I ended up leaving early. I had this funny feeling. I was like, I don't know about this. So we left, and there was a huge brawl, and a whole bunch of people, like 10 people got arrested.
Sounds like a Kutztown party.
So yeah, that was like...
That's how parties happen at Kutztown.
But yeah, that was KU. That was KU back in the day.
Yeah. Well, that's still KU for the most part. KU gets crazy, especially when you consider that it's considered a dry campus.
Is the Hill still a thing to do?
Yeah. I mean, well, when I was there early 2000s, like 2005.
Okay.
And then like 2006, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
This happened, I think, in 2007. But so like during that time, like when I was there, the Hill was popping all the time.
Yeah, we used to.
Every party was either there or the Cliffs.
The Cliffs. That's right. The Cliffs. Yeah.
And then in 2006, 7, 8, that was more the Cliffs. Little bit.
The Cliffs was crazy, man. Have you ever partied at the Cliffs?
No.
All right.
So I didn't do that.
So this is the wildness of the Cliffs was the fact that every place was open. You literally could go from house to house and it was like nothing. You could do whatever you want.
It was like a development like this.
It was a development.
But it was
just
all
go to
students.
any house. Yeah. So like literally Friday night, like it was all access.
I didn't do that kind of college life.
They would do like trash can parties.
Don't know what that is.
It was chaos.
I thought I told you about trash can, where you go to a trash can party, you have to bring a bottle, and then when you walk in, there's a trash can, and you pour the contents of said bottle into the trash can, and everybody does that, and then near the end of the night, people start drinking that, where it's a mix of everybody's alcohol.
Sounds like a bad time. Plus, it would have been 151 if I did that.
We did bring 151 one time.
Because I used to just drink that out of the bottle back then.
So speaking of drinks, what am I drinking here?
This is a Dark and Stormy. If you guys didn't see it, go check out Two Drunk Dads, the show before the show where we made it.
Do the other way. The fancy way you say it. That I can't say it. So I can't roll R's.
What?
What?
What about
the Spanish one?
Oh my God, I forget what it was called.
Something
right.
negro.
Oh no, it was Tormenta Negra.
There you go.
That's what it is. But yeah, it's just rum, funny. Ginger beer, and lime juice.
Wow, this smells sweet.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a simple cocktail though. I mean, it's nice.
Goes down smooth.
Easy.
Actually, I'm actually impressed.
Yeah. Glad we can.
I love ginger. Well, I drink Moscow Mules. So,
okay. Yeah.
So
it's not too different from that.
Not too different at all. So it's like vodka and ginger beer, and I'm ready to go.
Exactly.
So.
I mean, you can't go wrong with simplicity.
I think we've made that all the ways that you can make it because we did that one. But then when I was at home, I do it with tequila because I prefer that to rum.
Yeah. See, I'm a rum guy. He's a whiskey and tequila guy.
Oh, okay.
But didn't you do bourbon for a little bit too?
I'm Scotch.
I just do
You're
all
Scotch.
of them.
Scotch is always good.
7. I drink 7. Anything with 7. 7 and ginger, 7 and 7. So
A lot of 7.
a lot of 7.
Okay.
So,
But yeah. It's just, because of the name, we kind of just adopted the whole drinking rum thing, which he hates.
Yeah, I do.
With
Because
every
I would
fiber of
drink
his being.
way other things. So
but
many
you're
other.
stuck with rum.
He's just like, hey, I found this really cool drink. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Work rum into it.
Yeah. He just makes me put rum in things. There's like drinks. I'm like, all right, I got the recipe. He's like, all right, put this in it.
I'm just like,
that's
white-
going to make it bad,
it'll
but
be
okay.
like, it'll be white rum. I'm like, white
You
rum
should-
doesn't even have a flavor.
you
Just go.
should make coquito then. You see?
Funny
We're
story.
doing that soon.
Our next
There
guest
you go.
actually is coming on to make coquito.
There you go.
So we're gonna have coquito.
There
And
you
we
go.
love it.
We use rum chata a lot too.
and then you
'cause
can sell it.
Yeah.
cinnamon toast crunch. is
Rum
my favorite.
Runners coquito.
Well, it's his family.
We're working
recipe.
on that someday.
I gotta promise not to use his family recipe, but we were talking about that. If we ever got big enough, it'd be cool to have like our own brand. of
Oh, well,
alcohol.
hell
Just
yeah.
put our
You
name on
got
it.
to.
Just-
You got to. That's
Does my microphone sound weird?
no.
I
You
feel like it's
sound
being
fine.
weird.
No, you sound
No,
fine.
you
It's
sound
just
fine.
every so often
There's
the
like
thing's
breaking up
moving,
noise. Yeah,
and I think
okay.
it's just because we haven't used this on 3 channels in a long time. It was since Dane, so I
You
mean,
gonna put the dog,
since Dane,
or are we gonna put the picture of the chair?
either one. I'll figure it out in post.
Our assistant used to like never show up. So at one point, I was taking like promo pics of all of us, and I just
He'd
took a
take, like,
picture of the
candid
chair.
of me. I would take a candid of him, and there's just a chair because the chair was still behind.
And I was like,
the thing,
Dane, empty chair.
the most fired assistant ever. So it was all in good fun. But back on well, you rapping,
Yeah.
I remember I saw this on your Facebook.
Yeah.
A memory from years ago.
Yes.
Came on.
I know you can talk about. Yes.
Mr. Cap Cee here was on TRL.
Yes, I was.
For our younger viewers, TRL doesn't even have anything equivalent to compare it to anymore.
They brought it back and it was terrible.
Yeah, but for the older viewers, you know exactly what TRL was. So I'll try to explain. It was basically, it was you might actually be able to explain it a little better than me. It was a video show.
It was a video show. It was a countdown.
Yeah,
And it was done by Carson Daly, and he would basically count down videos that were popular for the day, and then on top of that, he would have guests come on the show.
and he'd have Times Square
And
going
stuff.
insane.
Yes, Times Square was home base, and it was just insanity, like straight up.
So how was it being on there?
Very wild. Like that was one of the wildest times ever for me because first of all, everything that happened that day, that one day that I landed on TRL, will forever be like when I explain the story, people are like, it's just so many things that happened that if one little decision I made would have changed everything. It would have probably never happened.
It was
Oh,
a
wow.
complete domino effect.
So yeah, so it's like every little thing that I did that one morning led up to exactly getting there. Now, let me put some there's like a backstory to all of MTV, and that's kind of weird too because when I was in high school in New York, there was a show on MTV that they used to do in the afternoons, and me and my friends used to go to that. And this is when their studio was actually on 42nd and 10th Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to me and my friends used to go to that show.
That was the studio that had like no windows, right?
Yeah, there was like no windows
Yeah.
in there whatsoever. So this was like where they shot Yo MTV Raps,
Yeah.
all that stuff back in the day. So they had a show. I forgot what the name was. It was MTV something, but I got good with what do you call it? Ted Demme.
Okay.
Now, if you remember, Ted Demme was he actually did a lot of he made a lot of movies. He died actually, but he did a lot of movies back in the day. His brother's Jonathan Demme, I think. And Jonathan Demme's the one who filmed. If I'm mistaken, I don't know he did like really like off the wall like very dark films back in the day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But anyway, so he would actually bring us on and it was almost the same. This was like a precursor to TRL actually. So he actually had like guests on there too and everything. So I got to meet like a lot of rappers on there, like Nice and Smooth, House of Pain, Cypress Hill.
Oh, damn.
That's awesome.
So now then I moved to obviously PA, and then next thing you know, I'm in PA. I'm doing this stuff, music with my crew.
Yeah.
This and a third, and I kind of was like, so it was 2000, and I had a crappy job. I was, single. I had nothing, all I had going for me was my music. And I was just like, well, I want to see if this is going to be worth something.
Yeah.
So I actually said, you know what?
We just take the leap.
I'm going to take my demo, one-way ticket to New York. I was going to live with my friend in the South Bronx. And let's see where I go from there. So that was Monday. Monday morning, I have $200 in my pocket, a one-way ticket to New York, demo in hand, a book bag full of clothing, and I go to my friend's house in the South Bronx.
Yeah.
And the next morning, my intention was just to look for a job. So my friend was like, hey, you know what, man? I'm going to go to my friend's house and crash. I'm going to give you the place for the night, hang out, chill, whatever you want to do. So I was like, all right, cool. So I'm there, and this is like, this is pre-everything. Like, there's no social media, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, this is either like
marketing was standing outside telling people stuff.
This is all pagers and
sign spinning guys.
So, but the whole thing was crazy. Was the fact that now, number one, I'm there that night by myself, and I'm not a religious person, but I usually basically was just like, God, please let me know, like, give me a sign, show me something that this is worth me coming out here. I just want to know if this is worth it. Like, I'm not, I'm making my mom's like in hysterics, like, so it's kind of just like,
my baby went back to New York.
Yeah.
It's
So
like 200 miles away.
yeah, so it's like, let me see what, what this is about.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about. The next day, how everything went the way it went, and it was just the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
So Tuesday morning, I wake up, get ready, and I find out that there's a hip-hop show going on at the Roseland. Now, the weird part about it was they weren't selling tickets at the Roseland. You had to go all the way down to another theater, which is in the Village, to go get the tickets, which I was like, what?
Like, why would you do that? Yeah.
So
kind of sketch.
So I called up my friend. I was like, yo, you want to go with? He was just like, yeah, see if he can get his tickets or whatever. And I said, all right, cool. So now my friend where he lived, remember the Wiz?
Yeah.
Do you remember the
Wiz?
Wiz?
I loved the Wiz.
So I went to get an application there. I got an application at McDonald's that was there. And I was like, all right, well, let me go downtown now. So I took the 4 train, and that took me directly to that theater. I went there. So I get off to the 4 train, go to the theater. There's a guy, the doors are closed, but there's a guy standing right there. And then I'm like, is this the line? He goes, yeah. And I was like, all right. So I stand behind him. And then there's
one person line.
Yeah. So this other girl stands behind me, and we're just standing there. Doors open. The guy before me goes, give me 4 tickets, please, blah, blah, blah. And then as I step up to the window, boom, they put a sign saying sold out.
Be like, you guys have 4 tickets?
And I'm like, what? So I'm there like, are you serious? So
the last 4
tickets. I'm like, what is going on here? And I was like, are you this for the hip hop show at the Roseland? He's like, yeah. And I was like, why not selling tickets at the Roseland? He's like, I don't know. They're doing it this way. And I was like, so the guy
politics.
So the guy was just like, you know what? There's an HMV right up the block. We don't have tickets anymore, but why don't you go and see if they have tickets maybe in Ticketmaster or whatever? So I was like, all right, sure. So I went to this HMV. I'm sitting around there for like 10, 15 minutes. The lady finally comes up, checks it out. She goes, no, the show's sold out. And I was like, all right, well, then that's it. So I'm walking around the Village, and I was just like, I called my friend. I was like, dude, we're not going. He's like, all right. But this was after the whole Fuji stuff.
Okay.
So I still had connections. Like, I knew people.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just like, you know what? Maybe I'll go to the Roseland and see if I
recognize somebody.
If I recognize somebody, and see maybe I can get backstage or something. So I took the N train, Got off on 42nd Street. The Roseland is up on 48th, I think, or 49th. Back in, it's no longer there anymore. But
Yeah.
So I walked up there, and I didn't see. I saw one of my boys, but he was just like, dude, it's like mad tight, like guest list is done, blah blah blah. So and I was like,
You having some difficulties there?
I don't know. Thought it was my mic making that noise.
So
I hear some clicking.
yeah, I
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
some-
Let's push on that real quick. Just to.
All right.
I don't know.
I was blaming me.
So
I was blaming you also. That's why I was looking at you.
Like, why do you take that apart, man?
But so what happened was, I go up there. He told me that. I was like, all right, well then you know what, forget it. So I walk back down. Virgin Megastore is open at the time. I'm walking around Virgin Megastore, and now this is where I'm saying like, you never know.
Yeah.
So like I said, I used to live in New York. So I'm thinking to myself, well, I want to go back to my old neighborhood and see if I see anybody. So where I'm standing at, I could take the one train, which will take me to my old block, but 3 blocks away from my old house, my old building, I should say. Or I could cross the street over and then walk an avenue down and then take the A train, which will drop me off directly in front of my building.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there and I'm like, I'll go take the A train. So I cross the street, I'm walking, and then as I'm walking, boom, this girl stops me and goes, hey, what are you doing today? And I was just like, nothing. Why? And she goes, you ever heard of TRL? I was like, yeah. She goes, I'm the audience coordinator for TRL, and I'm looking for guests. Would you like to be on the show today? And I said,
Jeez.
They actually just stood outside grabbing people?
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
ridiculous.
So I was like, really? I was like, sure. I mean, whatever. So she was like, okay, here, put this wristband on and stand on side. There was a line already. So I was like, all right, cool. So I'm standing there on the line or whatever, and I was like, all right. Then they brought us in, took us upstairs, took us in this pantry room, tell us to put, everybody, we all had like book bags, whatever. They said, leave all the stuff in here.
Yeah.
Then they took us right into the studio. They sat us down, and this is where it gets really weird. So standing, we're sitting down, whatever. The audience coordinator is like, hello, blah, 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 welcome to MTV. This is the studios. This is TRL. It's All Access Week. So in All Access Week, what they used to do was they used to take like an audience member and they would take them to like a concert that's going on at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they would
I remember that.
And they would have them meet like the artist of that concert and then like just watch the concert.
That's cool.
I was always super jealous when I used to watch that. I was like, I want to go there one day.
So now my whole thing was like, that's cool. But then the girl goes, our special guest for today is Busta Rhymes. And I was like, oh, man, Busta.
You're like, now I'm interested.
And I was like, okay. So now in my head, I'm like, damn, I left my demo in my book bag in the freaking pantry. And I'm like, I want to give my demo to him.
Yeah.
So I'm there like, how can I get back to that pantry? How can that's all I'm trying to think. And like maybe I should be like, I need the bathroom or something. Like, I don't know. But then as she's talking, there's this guy in back of her. And he's looking around, like just looking around and stuff. And then he looks right at me. And he goes, you, come here. And I'm there like, what the hell did I just do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just sitting here. So I walk over to him. And he goes, how you doing? I was like, hi. He goes, my name's Rob. And your name is like Charlie. And he goes, all right. And he goes, so what do you know about Dr. Dre? I was like, what? And I was like, that was like the most
Be like, is this like a test? Like, what's going on here?
Most random question on the world. And I was like, one of the best producers in rap,
Yeah.
Chronic, like,
Yeah.
whatever. So as I'm answering this, I'm hearing the girl go, by the way, today we're having a rap contest. And I'm like, you're having a rap contest? He goes, yeah, why? And he goes, I rhyme. And he goes, you rhyme? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, say something for me. So I spit a freestyle. And he goes, holy cow. He goes, well, he didn't really say that.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was just like.
PG-13. PG-13, everybody.
But he was just like, come with me. Brings me over to another guy. This is Dave. Dave goes, hey, what's up? My name's Dave, blah, blah, blah. So I heard you're a rapper. Yeah. And he goes, all right, cool. Spit something for me. So I spit a rhyme
It's
for
like
him.
every rapper's dream.
And then he goes, he goes, are you doing anything tonight? And I was like, no, what's going on? Like, I'm like just freaking out. Like, huh?
I feel like at that moment, no matter what, you're like, no, probably not now.
So
there was, but no.
You want me on Christmas? I will cancel Christmas.
I think my mom's getting married, but I don't care anymore.
So they bring me into the control room, and they have me meet Deb. She's the production coordinator in the control room, and she goes, "Hey, we're having a rap contest. Can you write a rhyme about the Up in Smoke tour?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I could do that. That probably wouldn't be an issue for me." So then, boom, they're like, "Go, they'll take you to the pantry," which I was like, "Pantry? I get my demo.
Everywhere I want to go."
Yeah. So they take me to the pantry. I grab my demo real quick out of my book bag, put it in my pocket. I'm writing this rhyme. There's a whole bunch of other guys in there though, writing rhymes too, and I was like, "Oh, okay." All of a sudden, there's one coordinator. This person comes in and goes, "You can go back into the audience. You can go back to the audience. You can go back." Blah blah blah. Then it's just me and this other guy. And
that must suck to have been those guys. Like, we lost. We didn't even get to do anything yet.
Yeah, right.
That's why you need to make sure your freestyles are always on point.
So they brought me into the room, back into the control room. They said, "All right, rhyme what you wrote." So I wrote, I spit the rhyme for them. Mm-hmm. They were like, "Wow." They're like, "Okay, can you remember that in the next 5 minutes?" I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, 5 minutes? Because there was like a whole bunch of stuff I wrote. I'm like, I'm not going to memorize this in 5 minutes.
I thought I had days.
So I was like, so I said to them, I was like, "You know what? I'll freestyle it. I'll do it off the top." They're like, "You're on live TV." And I was like, "No, I'll do it. Don't worry about it." What they didn't,
I can censor myself.
See, what they didn't know is that I've already done shows. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm not new to this game.
I'm not new to this. So there we are. They take me back to the pantry. I'm there with this kid. They bring us out. They bring us up to the studio again, and we're meeting Carson. So Carson's standing there.
Is he a cool guy?
Real cool dude.
Okay.
Are we going to find a clip of this?
So
I can probably find it. He has a clip of it on his Facebook.
So here's something. You want to know how Cap Cee became?
Let's go for it.
So my rap name was Capital C. And they asked me what my rap name was, and I said, I'm Capital C. That's my rap name. And when they were basically telling him in his earpiece our names. So they introduced us, and they said, whatever. So
we've determined it's not yours, Kyle. You can stop.
I don't know who's.
I don't know. I keep trying. I can't help it.
So they were like, they introduced so the kid's name was Nick.
Yeah.
So his name was Nick, and he was like, "Hey, Nick, blah blah blah." And then he comes up, he goes, "Cap Cee," and I was like, "It's capital C." He goes, "Cap Cee, I like it better."
And you're like, I like it better too.
And I was like, I like it better too.
Wasn't there a hip hop movie or something like that? They just didn't say the right name. He's like, whatever.
I don't even know, but
it seems like it would be a thing.
So that's how Cap Cee became.
I would try to find out that movie because they might have stole that from your life.
Yeah, right. So Carson Daly basically named me from there on out. So there we are. Boom. 5 minutes. We're going to be live on TRL. And it's going to be a rap contest between me and this kid.
And he's got a written that he's trying to remember, and you're just going to free it.
And his name's Nick.
So here's the crazy.
I should be able to body it, Nick.
So here's the crazy part about this. There we are live. Carson's doing the whole spiel. They're like, all right, so here we go. Here's a rap contest. Nick, you're up first. And the kid's up there with the freaking paper.
Oh, my goodness.
And he's all off beat.
You're like, I didn't try that.
And I was just like, and I'm there in my head like, I got this, man. I got this. So, bam, he's off. They're like, Cap, you're up next. Boom.
They're like, why the heck did we even bring this kid on?
I go on, and I just go off. Whole freestyle, killed it. So then they're like, okay, yeah, everybody get up for Nick. Crickets. And then they're like, all right, give it up for Cap Cee. And then everybody's going nuts. And I'm there like, awesome. So, they're like, so, congratulations. And they give me this book bag. And I'm like,
you're like, okay. I came in with a book bag, but okay.
Put this one in the other one?
So they're like, here's a book bag. It has a couple of T-shirts, got some CDs, and this, that, and the third from people in the Up in Smoke tour, whatever. And I was like, oh, word, cool. They're like, yeah, but that's not the only thing. And I was like, oh, what else is going on? They're like, you see that limo outside? So you know how the windows were?
The gigantic windows.
So I look out the window, big ass stretch limo outside. I'm like, okay, you're going up in that limo to the Up in Smoke tour in Philly to meet Dr. Dre and Eminem.
You took a limo from New York to Philly?
So how funny-
So long.
So you drove from
I took the
Emmaus
bus.
to New York
Yes.
and then took a limo
Yes.
from New York.
Did you stop at
to
your mom's
Philly.
on the way back?
Yo, I wanted to
You're like,
so
yo,
bad.
Mom, I'm fine. As
I'm
you can
like
see,
an hour away. I'll be there soon. Make dinner.
it's cool.
So how funny is that? Yeah. So I'm like, no freaking way. I'm
Yeah.
bugging out. So they're like, come on, let's go. So Dave comes with me. He's one of the producers. He comes with me. We jump in the limo. I'm like bugging out. There's
Yeah.
a camera crew with us, so they're filming the whole thing.
Did you have to walk through that ridiculous crowd?
So what?
Like the outside crowd?
No, that wasn't that much of a
Oh,
crowd
okay.
that night. That day. So like I literally got in the limo. Boom, we're on our way. So I call up I'm like, so they have cell phones. I'm like, can I use your phone? I need to call people.
Like, is there a
So-
car phone in here?
So they gave me their cell phones. I called my mom. I called my dad. Then I called my what do you call it? I called my friend who I was staying with in the Bronx. He was so bad because he's like, what? He's like, this is the only crap that happens to you. He's like, this is ridiculous. So because he's at work and he's like all pissed off now.
He's like, super glad I gave you that apartment.
Yeah, right. Called my other friend, and I was like, yo, I'm on my way. So we get there and stuff and whatever. We get off the limo. We're at the Spectrum.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
The
so-
Spectrum.
So we're at the Spectrum. They bring me downstairs into this like area where there used to be like a bar that like all of the players would go to and hang out
Yeah.
like before or after the game. So whatever to like, let off steam or whatever. So I'm sitting, I
You're
walk,
like, to drink.
yeah, basically. So I walk in.
Michael Vick hit dogs.
Oh my gosh! So I walked.
That was before Michael Vick.
That was way before
dogs.
Michael.
He was probably hitting dogs then too.
Oh
probably.
my god!
Just one or two though, not the amount he did.
So we walk in and they there's a bar there. I'm just standing there and they're like, okay, we're gonna bring Eminem and Dre. And I was like, oh okay.
You're like, so this is happening right now.
Wow,
Okay.
all right.
This is like 8 Mile 2.
So yeah. So the crazy part about this was, all right, so there's a precursor to this. I actually used to have a radio show on LVR
Okay, yeah.
at Lehigh University. It's called Hip Hop 101. So hip hop, I've been into hip hop for my whole life. So the whole thing with me was like, I'm about to meet Eminem and Dre. I'm gonna ask them everything I've ever wanted to ask them.
Yeah,
So
you
I'm
kind of
gonna-
have to.
So I'm gonna interview them. So like all MTV thought of me was like I'm this rapper who's probably gonna be like, oh my god, Eminem, you're like,
I love you so
blah,
much.
blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
then that would have been it.
How I would have been if I would have won that.
So the crazy thing about this was like Eminem and Dre come in. I meet them. Hey, what's up? Blah blah blah. They have me and Eminem stand up on the bar. Dre sits on the bar, and like we're above him. They gave me the microphone, and I just start going off.
That's
So-
the promo that they put up, right?
Yeah, so I was
Yeah.
like, Eminem, blah blah blah, and Dre, this and the third, and they're like, like they're like blown out of their mind. The
That's
questions
not
I'm
what
asking
people
them.
usually do.
Yeah, so Dre's like, yo, yeah, whatever, yeah, NWA Part 2, blah blah blah. I'm working on
Yeah.
this, Chronic, blah blah, and all this stuff. And then I was talking to M, and I was asking him about what he's up to and what he's doing, and they're just like, no way. So then I freestyle for me and M, do a little freestyle or whatever, and then that's it. Dre was beatboxing for me, and then
Which that is like, if
It's
you
like
think
the
about
ultimate
it,
dream.
you're
Yeah.
like, hey, I freestyled with Eminem
while
and Dre.
was beatboxing,
Beatbox for us.
exactly.
Be like, I don't care what you have to say. Screw your ankle and Jason Mraz. My story wins.
I still wish Jason Mraz was in that story somehow, some way.
And then Jason Mraz showed up in the back and played ukulele.
So the whole thing. So then they left, right? And I'm standing there, and then now there was just like, oh yeah, so we're gonna take, they're gonna take me into the concert and just watch the show and then leave. That was supposed to be the whole thing.
Yeah.
No. The producer comes up to me, Dave comes up to me and goes, yo, Cap, so all the managers were in here for all the other artists. They want you to interview everybody on the show now.
Jeez.
Nice.
So you became like a VJ.
I became a VJ right on the spot,
Unplanned.
unplanned.
Jeez.
They're trying to write questions for me. I was like, don't write anything.
Be like, it's fine.
I know.
Be like, who are the people
These are
I'm going to
questions
ask
I
questions
wanted
for?
to ask.
I've had this for
So
years.
yeah, and they were like, who's on? I was like, I was like, who's on the show? They gave me a list, and I was like, dude, I have questions for every one of them. Don't worry about it.
Won't even be the same questions.
Bam. There I go. I meet Snoop. I meet Exhibit, Nate Dogg, Proof. I meet like
who was the coolest
Ice
out of
Cube.
all of them?
They were
Just
all cool.
Just personality wise, like who'd you meld with the most?
M.
Okay,
So
he's a good person to meld with.
So Ice Cube was great. I interviewed him just as he got off the stage, but he was great. Snoop was hilarious because like we literally opened that door and it was like, it was like,
Just be like, I feel fine now.
so and like yeah, he just like yeah, it was, but he was a cool dude too. He was real cool. Corrupt was really cool. Exhibit was real cool. I kicked a full freestyle for Exhibit. He was like, damn, like he just like freaked out. Mac 10 was real chill. Nate Dogg couldn't really talk to because he was like time is remember when that was during the time when Nate Dogg something happened to his house. I think like it burned down or something like that.
I remember something in the news or something
so that was kind of around that time. The thing with M and the reason why me and M gelled was because it was that was the time when M had gotten that whole thing where he saw his girlfriend at the club and his gun fell out and he was beat up the bouncer.
Yep.
So he was kind of like on probation.
What sparked off like four songs after that.
So what happened was at that time, Dre under Dre's orders, like M couldn't do a thing.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't even like smoke. He couldn't do nothing. Like he had to be on
super sober M.
He had to be like on his best behavior. So he literally was like. So me and M are the same age. So he was just like everybody on that stage. Everybody on that show was way older than him. Mm-hmm. So the thing was, it was him and Proof basically. Yeah. And so me coming on and being an M and a rapper and then like just having a conversation with him, he was mad cool. Like the whole time, M was real chill.
That's what's up.
So. And you could tell, like he was funny all the time. And then even when we were rapping and he did that thing, we're like, shut up and go home. But like, it was just funny. Like, we were all just cracking jokes the whole time. So he was a really cool dude. M was a real cool dude. So
it's always cool to hear when, like,
I was imagining
idols.
he would be a jerk.
No.
That's like, I always thought that because I was always just like, he is at such a high level above the standard
That's not even
everyday
why. His
person.
songs are just so angry. I was like, he's probably just like that.
The whole you're right because that's what I was expecting. I was like, this guy's gonna be a dick. Like,
he's gonna be crazy. He's gonna be yelling at me every so
He already hates me. He hasn't met me yet.
But
he's thinking about cutting my head off.
But he was not. He was mad cool, real cool dude. I met Diddy. Diddy was there too.
Oh, dang.
He also at that time got like in trouble for a gun somewhere, didn't he?
Well, that was
when he was in J-Lo?
That was New Year's Eve. That was New Year's Eve of 2000.
Oh,
that was him and J-Lo. They ended up in jail.
I remember that one.
Yeah. So
as soon as you said gun thing, I was like,
Shine
that's
went to jail.
J-Lo.
That's when Shine went to jail.
everybody was dropping guns
Shine
everywhere.
Totally.
So, but yeah. So like that whole thing was nuts. So it was like I got to interview everybody. I got to see the show, and then then I'm there like, well, let's go back. And they were like, brought me back to the Bronx. There I am in the South Bronx, 3 a.m, being dropped off in a huge stretch limo.
After meeting
my friend's
all of
apartment.
your icons.
Yeah.
And your friends are just like, I hate you so much.
So
this isn't safe, and it's not because of anybody else. It's the guy I'm staying with. He's mad.
So
I sort of just bounced on him.
Just disappeared, had the best day ever.
So my friend was waiting for me. He was like, dude, I cannot believe this happened. I was like, dude, I'm bugging out right now. Like, I really have to like go to sleep. Like, I am in shock. Like, I need to just.
I would just be like, have I been dreaming this entire time?
So I wake up the next morning, and this is how powerful TRL was. I wake up the next morning. Me and my friend go to get sandwiches at a deli. And immediately, yo, you the dude on TRL that was rhyming. And I was like, are you and then it was like.
You're basically a celebrity at that point.
It was like, holy, like, bam. Like, everywhere I was going, that's what it was. And I was like.
Everybody watched TRL
this is insane.
Oh, yeah. That was the thing to do.
I was like, what is going on here? And I was like, okay. Ran back to my friend's apartment. And I was like, and my friend had the day off too. And I was like, dude. What was that? And he goes, dude, I don't even know what to say. And I'm like, I can't handle that right now. Like, I can't do. I was like, let me. I'm going back home. I gotta go back.
Which I'm assuming wasn't that much better because everybody here watches TRL too.
So here's the thing, like, I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
I kind of was like,
You're like, I'm gonna go to where it's safe.
yeah, I'm gonna go where it's safe. Yeah.
Those people weren't looking in the window at me. They were just seeing it on TV.
You know, I was in the same city as these people.
You see, here's the thing. I didn't really think of it that way. I'm thinking, I'm hanging. You know, all my friends are like 20 plus.
Yeah.
None of these guys are watching TRL. And then I'm like, the only people that are watching are like kids, and they're all in school, so no one's gonna bother me.
Yeah.
So I'm out. I'm going back home.
This was before DVR, everybody. All the young kids.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it came on like right when school got out.
yeah.
3 p.m. or 3 to 3:30, I think it was. Yeah.
So I'm back on a bus coming back to PA. I tell my friend to come pick me up. He picks me up, and he's like, "Dude," he's like, "I can't believe what happened to you yesterday." And I was like, "I know." I was like, "I'm freaking out, bro. I need to go home. I need to like chill for a little bit.
I need my mom to put me in my place so I can have like a level head."
So my friend actually recorded it because he was one of my boys who actually like I called immediately.
Yeah.
And told him about it. So he recorded. No, so actually when I was in the pantry writing my rhyme, I called him. And then he recorded it on his VCR.
You were like, "Yo, put a blank tape in."
I was like, you got to put something. So, but we were talking. So he gave me the tape. He's the one who picked me up. So he gave me the tape. Went to my house, and I was there with my mom and everybody. I showed them. They're like, "Oh my God, this is not." I was like, "Wow." So I was like, I just need a day to myself. I don't want to talk to nobody. I want nothing.
Yeah.
I just want to relax, chill. Bam. Next night, I'm like, all right, I want to go out and have a good time. And I was just like, called up my friends. I was like, yo, let's go out. And we all went out. And I walk into one of my spots that, we used to frequent back in the day. It was called the Penalty Box. It was up on Lehigh Street in Allentown. And that was like the Wednesday night spot. And I literally walked in there. And the whole place erupts with cheers.
Jeez.
And I'm like, oh my God. And then they're like, yeah, we saw you. And blah, blah, blah. They're like, drinks are on us on the house. And
dang.
It was insanity. But that was it. And then they showed the whole thing on. So that happened Tuesday, Wednesday, and then like Thursday is when they actually showed all the footage on TRL of what I did.
Oh yeah, with the
show and everything.
Because they didn't do all that stuff live. That was all recorded. Yeah.
So then they showed all of that, and it was just like, then that was it, man. Like everywhere I went, it was just like nonstop. It was like the Lehigh Valley Mall. I got stalked in. Like, it was crazy, but I learned a lot from that. With being with MTV and all that, I learned a lot. I also learned who my real friends were. I lost a lot of who I thought were friends. It was pretty wild because you get to see like the good and the bad and the ugly, and it was just like, what was crazy was just like it wasn't me. Like the whole thing that got out of it was like this is happening to me. But I'm not acting into it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like this is just, I'm a lucky. Seriously, it's luck. I'm a lucky guy who literally got on stage. Got on an MTV and got to do this.
Who crossed a street instead of taking the thing right next to him.
Instead of taking the one train, exactly.
Yeah. Wasn't there a movie with Gwyneth Paltrow like that? Like sliding doors, where it was like every decision. There's like two parts to the movie.
I don't even remember that.
Wow, that sounds interesting. But you know what? That's the whole thing. It's just, it's pretty wild.
It's serendipity.
If
I did not the movie, but the whole thing.
If I never walked in, in front of that building, that would have been it. So it's just nuts. So, but a lot of learning from that.
You should have gotten A Train tattooed on you somewhere, just as a reminder.
Always take the A Train.
Always take the A Train. But it was pretty wild. So that was kind of like, but I did a lot. I learned a lot with MTV. They brought me on. I was the official MC for TRL for a good 2 years. Whenever they had anything hip hop wise being done on the show, they bring me in. So I did like a thing with LL Cool J. I freestyled his history. And then he gave me the GOAT jacket.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got that in my house.
Jeez. See, and this is what I talked about when I said he is so high above us.
It's like,
I didn't know you actually then continued to work there. That's awesome.
Yeah, so like they kept me on when they did the Direct Effect, which is supposed to be the new thing that took over MTV Raps. I helped like putting like kind of like being in that stuff and everything. They brought me back for a whole bunch of stuff, and then New Year's Eve, I'll never forget. New Year's Eve 2001. that's when WWE was there. They had their
Yeah.
where the Hard Rock Cafe is. That used to be WWE Cafe, and it was like, so I was there New Year's Eve. It was me, Funk Flex, Exhibit, Defari, who else was there? Whole bunch of other rappers, and yeah, we brought
Did
in.
Exhibit remember you?
Oh yeah, he remembered.
That's
Me
crazy.
and Exhibit met up a whole bunch of times.
Dang.
And every time we met, he was like, Cap. So it was just, he's a real, Exhibit is mad cool. Like one of the coolest down to earth dudes you'll ever meet.
So like every 90s hip hop hero you got to meet and hang out with like a bunch of times.
Yeah, it was crazy though. But here's the wildness of it. So at that time, I was a huge underground head too. So I was like big into like Mos Def and Talib
Yeah.
Kweli and all those dudes.
Oh my God! Thank you for mentioning Talib Kweli. No one ever talks about Talib Kweli.
No, so I met like Talib and Mos and all those. I love those guys. But it was crazy. I met a lot of underground artists that I admired, and some of them were dicks. So it was kind
So
of
it's like
fun.
the famous ones
The
were cool.
famous ones are mad cool, and then like
The underground ones were schmucks.
But I could understand because they were all like, we hate pop and blah 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 blah, and I understand. I mean, but you can't be, you're meeting somebody that admires you. Like, don't be a douche.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. So I mean, that made me realize something about myself too. Like, now that I'm in the spotlight, like I really gotta like show like. I can't be really negative, you know what I mean? Like I gotta be kind of more
Show
positive.
your best self.
Yeah, show my best self,
Yeah.
regardless of whatever it is, and that's something that's pretty wild. Like when you get to hear all these artists and how they get, they get pissed off about their privacy.
Yeah.
Privacy is key because imagine like
It's the only time you can be yourself.
yeah, because imagine like I'm pissed off one day and somebody's like, "Can I have your autograph?" and you gotta like pop a smile up immediately. Like you can't be a dick.
I mean,
Or
even
you
on
wind
this,
up like Justin Bieber or Charlie Sheen pushing cameramen around.
very
Yeah.
true. Yeah, even on this small scale, because I mean, like we're not very large of a podcast. Which thank you once again for coming on here. But I mean, and I've tried to explain this to people because people are like, oh, so it's just you and because they know me, they know him, and they're just like, oh, so it's just you guys BSing, like that's just what it is. And I'm like, no, it's different because we have to put our best selves forward. We're still very much ourselves.
Yeah.
But
Season 1.
Damn, you guys drink yours?
well,
We
once
do
again,
this often.
we do this every week.
I gotta catch up. Like,
We
I'm
do
taking
this
sips. I'm
every
like,
single
damn, they already killed theirs.
Yeah, no, it's cool, but yeah, like so we do put our best selves forward because there's times where he's in a bad mood, I'm in a bad mood, and we're just like, all right, welcome back to another episode.
No, and that's the thing in show business. You have to, like, regardless of what you're going through, you have to, like, you got to put your best foot forward, regardless of where you're at. And then, I mean, I learned that really quick with MTV. It was just like, I had kids coming up to me being like, hey, and even when I was on B104, when I got on B104,
Yeah,
same thing. It was like now people knew who I was again
yeah.
in another light. And then it was just like,
A way that I've always thought about it is once you reach that status, you're considered a star, and stars shine. You got to have a bit of a shining personality.
yeah.
He's
To
always a
be
dork.
at that level. Yeah, I am a dork. But I mean, it's true though. I mean, once you're at that level, you have to have some sort of a personality that's one, marketable, and two, it sets you apart and puts you, makes you something that people would like to strive to also be like. You can't just be like, he's exactly like me, so I'm exactly like him. He just has millions of dollars. That's fun.
I remember being a kid and getting super excited to meet like people from B104 though.
Yeah.
I was on like like I always was fans of everything.
It
But
was-
I remember going to like a Valley Dogs game and I forget who was like which DJs were there at the time because this was like 97 and like Larry Holmes was there and that was like the highlight of my life. Like at that time I was like, cool.
Shout
I'm
out
like
to
a
Larry
super
Holmes.
famous
Yeah.
boxer man.
Larry Holmes is everywhere.
He is everywhere.
It's hilarious. Like I always bump into him half the time. And I'm
we
just
were talking about that. We're like, do you think there was a part of him that was like, I'm gonna become a boxer, and then I'm gonna have a street named after me, and have a statue?
I have his actual single. He had a song out,
For real?
No, I did not.
but
That's
it
awesome.
wasn't even. But no,
I'm gonna have to look.
But he
for
wasn't.
this.
He wasn't singing on it. But
Oh, okay.
an actual group did a song about him,
about Larry.
Oh, that's
about
awesome
Larry
stuff.
Holmes.
I've heard him
And I
name
found
dropped
the
a few
single.
times.
I was like, nice.
And I'm like, my mom knew him, like for real.
Yeah, no,
Like they grew up like next door.
it's so crazy, like how you get to like you know, when I met Larry Holmes, I was like, wow, Larry Holmes, like, because me and my dad used to watch boxing a lot.
Yeah.
So we saw him fight like on, you know, so it was pretty cool to meet
Before
him.
UFC, boxing was the thing.
Boxing was how I bonded with my dad. I remember the first match I ever got to see as a kid was the one where Mike Tyson bit off Holyfield's ear.
Oh, was that your first fight?
Yeah, I was like, yo, is this what boxing's like? And he's like, no.
No.
He's like, I want this every single time.
I'm like, I want people to eat people.
Dude, I used to watch. So there was the craziest fights back then was when it was Marvin Hagler and Thomas Hearns. Dude, those guys would fight for 15 rounds straight of nonstop like fighting. I mean, honestly, there was like 100 punches thrown every single round.
Jeez,
it was not like that was boxing back then. That's
no
why
Mayweather
the boxing
dancing.
now. Oh my god, dude, that's terrible, terrible.
Running around for 15 rounds.
Don't hit me! Don't hit me!
Yeah.
I tapped you.
And
Don't
they make
me.
like $30 million. These guys back then were only getting paid like not even 100,000.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Just be like,
nuts.
here's bare minimum. This will cover your hospital bills
Yeah, basically.
because your face was getting caved in if you didn't keep it up.
Those were fights back in the day. But
Yeah.
that's funny that you're the holy. Oh my god, I remember that. I remember that fight too. I was like, did he just bit off his ear? What the hell's going on here?
It sucks.
Like,
I was supposed
My
to be
favorite
seeing
part
that,
is
and I
that they didn't
see it live.
stop it. They were like, all right, the second one. All right, now you're done. 2 ears, no.
Well, I mean, who would have thought that he was gonna like go after it again? Like, it's one thing to like, yo, I bit your ear, like my mouth was there, my bad. Like, but then it's like, dude, he's actually trying to bite his ear again off. Like,
I guess that's how you look at it. The first one, that could have been an accident. Your mouth guard flew out, you got hit, your teeth clenched.
exactly.
Yeah.
Second time, like, you're doing this.
No,
You're
yeah,
like,
with
this
second-
is what you're going
when he's
for.
actually going like, like, whoa.
He's
dude.
like, it worked so well the first time.
Everybody's
and they
sitting there
didn't
like-
catch it.
Everyone's sitting there like, hide his family. Remember what he said in the interview. He's going to eat them.
Oh, he's gonna come eat your children. I'm like,
I'm
what
gonna
are
eat your
you
children.
doing?
Oh man, so great, so
Jeez.
great. That is crazy though. That is crazy. So hopefully now at this point you guys know Cap Cee a little bit more. I think we're gonna do, just so you can kind of get a feel for what it's like to be truly on the Rum Runnas podcast. We're gonna do one article,
Just one?
just un.
One article.
It's a pretty crazy article, all right?
You were yelling in your microphone.
I know. California woman claims homeless man dumped bucket of hot feces on her head.
But why?
How the hell was? Well, first, hold on. How was his feces hot in the first place?
I'm gonna go with he
Is it
probably
California?
put it over, like
Was he boiling this feces?
I'm gonna go with he would have had to, because if you have a bucket of it, you're gonna want to heat it up, especially since it's gonna loosen it, so it's gonna be more of a liquid
For what?
for pouring on people's head. Apparently,
Are you serious?
So just to
Maybe
read the
it was
article.
fresh.
Well, no, apparently from what I read,
So what
it was like
happened?
he was saving this.
Puts it by the fire.
So he
at
said
night.
a California woman claims she was assaulted by a homeless man who pulled her out of her car, dragged her into the middle of the street, and poured a bucket of hot feces on her head. Heidi Von Tassel described the disgusting incident to Fox News on Tuesday.
Why was she the lucky winner?
I have no idea. It was the worst game of eeny, meeny, miny, mo ever.
This is like the opposite of wrong place, right time. This is
the
right place,
exact
wrong
opposite
time.
of your story.
Read this.
She said she was getting into her car after grabbing dinner with some friends near the Hollywood Walk of Fame in Los Angeles when a 6'2" man who appeared to be homeless, might not have even been homeless, attacked her a few months ago. Okay, well, there.
Why is she reporting this now?
It was
but it was
diarrhea.
A few months ago.
It was diarrhea. I was soaked, and it was coming off my eyelashes and into my eyes. Van Tassel said.
I want to hear his side.
Paramedics
has
who
a
came
good
to treat
reason?
me said there was so much of it on me that it looked like the man was saving it up for a month.
But how the hell?
This is why we find this.
Yeah, this is why we do what we do.
Because you have to just be like, no one's going to read
Yeah.
this.
No, I saw this. I just was like, really?
Yeah, that's the thing. We read the clickbait, so you don't have to. You didn't have to read that. We're going to do it for you right here, right now.
Oh, my God.
She added that the feces got inside her car as well. He just kept pouring it and splattering it all over me. So she was like, "Ah," and then she tried to get away, and he was like, nope, more.
You need this.
Exactly.
What did the police do?
Let's see here. So then she said he took off. He ran away and couldn't. He ran away and I couldn't see. She said during the emotional interview with Fox, I was stuck in the middle of the road on Hollywood Boulevard and nobody would stop. Oh, that's sad.
I wouldn't.
Neither would I.
Why the hell would I stop?
Be like, do you need some wet wipes? And
She
throw 'em
covered
out.
in.
Ewy. Icky, yucky, gross. The police came and they got the feces out of my eyes so I could sort of see. So that's what the police did. They were like, let me just real quick. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Better? Better now?
Adding that her
or
attacker
now?
had returned and was standing across the street staring her down. He's just like,
Are you serious?
Don't tell him what I
Hold
did.
on. The fireman came. Already say that.
she said firemen were also dispatched to the scene and she had to peel off all of the items of clothing because I am soaked in his feces.
Oh my God.
They wrapped her in a blanket. That's pretty good. Rushed her to Hollywood Presbyterian Hospital where she got tested for infectious diseases because hepatitis was that was a real concern.
Dysentery.
Contact packed with feces, something she said she'll have to do every 3 months.
Oh, there we go. He was identified. Here we go.
Okay. The man who attacked her was identified in court records as Jared Blessings.
Jared Blessings.
Jared Blessings.
So he was just giving her his
A
blessings.
transient with schizophrenia and psychotic disorders. Blessings was charged with, this is a weird sentence. Blessings was charged with battery and taken to jail. Van Tassel, though, said Blessings would be better off under psychiatric care.
No.
I mean, he would be better anywhere where there's not buckets.
I think you're
would
way
say
off
that.
the whole thing now. Now it's just forget it.
This
Here-
is like a step up from when everybody was just pooping in yards.
Yeah, it says he doesn't need jail time. He needs mental health care. I have empathy for him because he needs help. She's a lot better of a person than I am.
Are you serious?
If
This is
someone
her
poured-
talking.
Yeah, if someone poured a hot bucket of poop all
No,
over
their
Give him the
ass
death
is
penalty.
dead.
yeah, they'd be dead.
No, they'd be dead. They'd be dead.
As soon as I
There
could
is-
see again, they're done.
No way that.
You would lose it. I think you would die. He's a germaphobe, so
Oh
like,
my
If
god.
I survived, though, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna do the same as do you now.
he's like, I'm saving it up for a year.
I'd find him.
Let's see if there's anything else. It was something that happens more often than many people think.
What?
What? Homeless people just throw poop on people?
Attacks in which homeless person was the primary suspect have been growing across. That's different.
That's just
Homeless people
There's
attacks
one thing attacking me.
and
There's
poop
another
attacks.
throwing a bucket full of
attacks.
feces on me.
Yeah, hot feces.
Wow.
Hot feces.
Is that worse than acid attacks?
I'm gonna go with mentally, yeah. Physically,
That's
no.
insane.
Mentally, yes.
That is insane.
Because if you get acid poured on you, if you can block it with like your hand and stuff, you just got a crazy scar.
I actually don't care about her point of view. I just want to curious.
Well, he's a schizophrenic.
Why did
Not
you
he's
do
schizophrenic.
That means he's got a really good reason.
He's gonna start screaming stuff
He's
about
gonna be like,
Stuyvesant.
Stuyvesant, the yellow lights made me do it.
Have you seen Caveman's Valentine?
Caves. No. What's that?
Samuel L.
The
Jackson.
best Samuel L. Jackson movie ever.
Such a good movie.
He's
Such
a crazy
good
homeless
movie.
man with
Stuyvesant!
schizophrenia.
Yeah, he basically is this guy minus the poop. Great movie
Okay.
though.
One
Highly
poop bucket
suggest.
away.
I'll have to look it up.
Let's see here. Homeless. Most recent count in July.
You got to go to another story because that's too much.
Do another one.
Do another one.
You want to do another one?
Yeah, we'll
okay,
do
let's see
another
here.
one. Because this is too fun. That's too
Okay,
much.
I want to. I gotta pick. I gotta pick
Too much
one.
to end on.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a choice. I'll let you guys pick.
All right, what do we have here?
Drunk police chief, or police like fire worker.
No.
Japan banning women from wearing glasses, or what I had saved is he ain't got no legs
Just do that one.
or arms.
What?
do that one.
I'm gonna go with you guys. Probably want to go with that one, right?
Whatever. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's do it.
But why does Japan hate
A
women?
15-year-old boy with no arms or legs was tackled and pinned by sheriff's deputy
Oh
in a
my god.
horrific video.
Not cool.
Why?
Yep, the shirtless 15-year-old screams as he lies face down on the kitchen floor of his Tucson group home. So he's in a group home with no arms and no legs.
And this officer feared
And
for
why
his
was
life.
he doing that?
So he can't flee, can't fight back because he has no arms,
And no legs.
no legs. But a sheriff deputy at least twice his size, because he had arms and legs,
It's not a good joke. That's a bad joke.
Oh my
is crouching
God.
over him and pinning him to the ground, using his body weight to restrain the quadruple amputee.
What's he gonna do? Handcuff? Nothing.
I don't know what he was planning on doing.
It's like put your hands.
All right,
behind
so
your back.
this is the sadness of all this. Now, read the next one.
Okay.
And I'll tell you when to stop.
The 8-minute cell phone video, which
Stop.
Okay.
Why the hell is somebody filming this for 8 minutes long and not doing a damn thing about it?
Because they probably would then also be tackled and held to
I
the
mean,
ground.
actually, no. If a cop is willing to tackle a man with no arms and no legs, he's probably willing to do way worse if you have those things.
Yeah, he's an unhinged officer
That
at that
is
point.
insane.
Cycle of
If you're
forces
like,
getting
hey,
amped up.
stop, he's gonna like break your hand.
You have one-
then tase you, then shoot you.
You know what? I'm
one
gonna be,
arm, and he's like, nope.
this whole thing with the video and cops thing is crazy to me because, like, you know how messed up it is. Like, I think we're gonna deviate off the
That's
story,
fine.
but
That's
the whole
fine.
thing is
we
this.
we
like,
are we are a show of tangents.
but the whole thing is this. Like, these cops, like, to be honest with you, they honestly have like the balls to be like, I don't even care if nobody's filming me. Like, I'm still gonna do what I do.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we have to have that conversation of like, why do these cops feel like even with their own cameras on them,
like
Too many of them get away with it. That's
they
why.
can still do this?
I mean, yeah, because I mean, if you have,
I'm
a
amazed that
million
one lady
cops,
cop actually went to jail.
right?
The one that shot
Oh, the one that
guy
shot
in
the
his
guy in his
home?
own place?
Yeah. Because she thought
Oh
it
my
was
God,
hers.
You're blacking in my house, but it's not my house. But okay, I'm gonna shoot you now.
None of my things are here, but still.
That's not my couch. Bang.
That's like, what was the thing from, who was it, Chappelle? Was it Chappelle? Were like, oh yeah, it was one of his comedy things where they were like, wow, hey, there's pictures of this guy's family in here. What's going on? Like, whatever.
Broke in and rearranged
He broke in
my
and rearranged
house.
everything. Like, seriously?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I understand that like you have to hold cops accountable. So you need, if something's happening, you should record it. And it's terrifying to be like, hey, I'm gonna step in because you can't put your hands on the cop. Because if you put your hands on the cop,
I'm not talking about
you're in a world of hurt.
I'm not talking about stepping in, but the thing is, sometimes these people are using their phones.
Just call
Nobody's
other
calling
cops.
911. Nobody's doing anything.
I think people might feel weird. Be like, I'm gonna call 911 and be like, what's your emergency? Be like,
Your cop's beating up a
there's
man
a
with no
cop
arms and no
beating up
legs.
a
this
Somebody.
cop that I can't see his badge because he's currently beating up a man with no arms and no legs is.
Excuse me, officer. What's your name?
Can I get your name real quick? Cool. Yeah. Okay.
Step
so
back.
He
All right,
said
his
his
name's
officer
Step
shut the
Back.
fuck up.
I personally think that I think we should have the right. We do have the right to call cops on cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it should be done more often. I think the problem with society though now is just like everybody's so like, oh my God, World Star, and it's like,
Oh my God. Yeah. No. I'm
you can't
completely
do
with
that.
that.
You can't.
Like if you see someone getting their ass beat, more people will just be like World Star and
Yeah.
like selfie with it than anybody be like, yo, stop.
Oh well, this happened to me. This happened to me when I lived in Emmaus before I moved to my new house. There was a group of kids. I was sitting in my house, and all of a sudden I hear like just all this like just a bunch of like yelling and stuff. I'm like, what the hell's all that? And I go outside, and there's like 20 kids, and the one kid's about to fight this other kid. And I said, hey, get the hell out of here! and they all had their cameras out.
Yeah.
And I was like, everybody, put your cameras away. Get the hell out of here. Or I'm going to show you what's going to get done to both of these dudes. And they all are like, they like ran. Because it's just like.
That's how it
there's
was
no
back
need
in the
for
day,
this.
though. Back in the day, it's like if you were going to get into a fight and you were on somebody else's property, that person could be like, hey, scram. And you were going to scram. You're going to get out of there.
It's like, get out of here. You don't need this.
I'll
like,
fight you
But all
later.
these kids were there like, the one I heard some of the
Fully
kids,
scheduled.
World Star. Like,
Yeah, nothing pisses me off more than hearing World Star.
yeah.
It's
Isn't
just
it
like,
done
seriously?
now? Isn't World Star like done?
I don't.
I
It
don't
doesn't
think
happen
I
as
don't think
much.
you can.
The
I don't
meme
think
is
you can
over.
yeah, I don't think you can post stuff like that anymore. Like I think.
Well, I think didn't the guy die who owned it?
What?
he might have.
Yeah, I think he did. I
It'd
think the
been
guy.
crazy if someone was at his death scene, just being like World Star.
Oh my
That video probably exists, but because
There-
nobody was uploading stuff, it didn't happen.
No, I
Most
think
likely.
the guy who ran World Star, I think he passed away. But still, it's so ridiculous.
It's
that
really
people-
weird how those mediums start, where it's like this is for hip hop videos, and then it's not. This is just for fight videos.
Just for fight videos.
Like,
For
I've
bare knuckle
decided not.
boxing and just random fights that
So
break out between two
ridiculous.
13-year-olds where everyone's throwing windmill punches.
Ah,
Everybody has no shirt now for some reason, but that never got grappled.
So let's find out, why did this guy get
Let's
tackled?
see.
Because there's got to be a reason to this.
So let's see what he says. Spokesman. Let me just scan through real quick.
Did he headbutt
But
the
Pima
cop?
County Public Defender Joel Feineman told the Washington Post that the disturbing incident likely wouldn't have come to light if it weren't for another teenager at the group home who recorded the confrontation. Oh, so this cop probably didn't even have body cam footage, or would have just completely been like, click, and then done that. And then had his so crap. So this kid that was recording then got his head smushed into a wall by another deputy.
Oh.
And these are kids at a group home. So these kids who already have been traumatized in some way, said Feynman, whose office is representing both boys. If a parent reacted to their teenager acting in the same way, they might be arrested for child abuse. Why did this happen, though? The 15-year-old quadruple amputee is in state custody because he was abandoned by his parents.
That's
Dang.
not nice.
Oh, there you go. There you go. On the morning of September 26th.
Works at a group home, called the police to report Emmanuel had knocked over a trash can and was yelling and screaming. Wait. So the kid with no arms and no legs knocked over a trash can and was yelling?
Yeah, he probably bumped into it
Exactly.
and fell, and it was like, there's garbage on me.
Yeah. He hit it with his head, and then he was yelling about it.
We
He
are
doesn't have
living
arms
in
and
such
legs.
a world of, oh my God.
It
People are
says Feynman
ridiculous.
isn't sure what got the teenager riled up. Probably either pain or ewy. There's trash on me.
I would have been yelling because there's garbage on me.
And in his opinion, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
He's a 15-year-old kid with no arms and
No
no
legs.
who
Why were
got
the group
abandoned.
home? Why were the people running the group home immediately like,
We should call the police.
we can't handle that guy?
Exactly.
Just put him in bed.
Lift them up
Yes.
and put them in.
It sounds messed up, but
no, that's
he's
the
got
truth.
no arms and no legs.
Like, I don't know.
You
Give him a
don't
bath
need the
first. Just take him and be like,
police.
That
you're
is
getting
so
a bath.
insane.
There's no reason to have gone. It's did he have a knife between his teeth and he was just shaking it back and forth?
Wow, this
What
is
is
so
this?
bad. I can't believe that.
Let's see. And it says people, 15-year-olds who have not been through what Emmanuel went through act out all the time.
Yeah,
it's true.
True.
Because
Nobody
it's what
calls the
being
cops.
15 is.
Being
The-
15 with no arms and no legs, yes, you'll be
Yeah.
acting out all the time. Like,
The last episode that we did, we had two 16-year-olds throw a freaking log off of a cliff.
People died.
Kids do stuff. They don't think about it. They just do stuff.
yeah.
Let's see here. So that's when CJ, the 16-year-old who lives in the home, began surreptitiously. I don't like that word.
Whatever.
Surreptitiously.
They were
Said
just
making a
recording.
video.
from an adjoining room. The video starts a white deputy in a wraparound sunglasses. So, like, the description of all white deputies can be
Every
seen.
police officer ever.
Exactly.
Sergeant Slaughter came. Like,
Can be seen kneeling on the ground and holding the black teenager in a headlock. I kind of feel like if he wasn't black and it was a white kid with no arms and no legs, this
Nah.
story would not have happened.
nah, it's group home.
Kind of
They
feel
see
like
it from a different angle.
Yeah.
that's how he was trying to handcuff him
How you gonna handcuff?
because he doesn't have any. So he's like, I got your head.
Was he going to do, like, literally the only thing he can do is muzzle him,
Just like,
which is
calm down.
terrible.
But
But
you
it
just
says,
knock him over?
when the deputy loosens his grip, Emmanuel tries to shake him off and break free, but he doesn't get far because he has no arms or legs.
Yo, that cop had to hold him down because everybody knows weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Oh
Oh
my
my god. Oh my god.
I think that's where we should end.
That's how we end.
I think we're all going to hell now.
Oh my god.
But it was a fun ride while we had it. Oh, it's basically just describing how terrible it is and him raising his voice whenever the expletive I want, I'll do what I want. Like it's him just being clearly a schmuck and a not nice cop.
Wow. Well,
The cop was yelling, I'll do what I want?
Pretty much I'm skimming, but yes. I will raise my voice to you whenever I want. Whenever the expletive I want, you understand, the officer yelled. So he's like, I'm a yell and scream. And the kid's like, I got no arms and no legs.
Like
Oh
the
my
people, the
God.
workers in the group home were like, I regret this now. Sir, there are children with mental disabilities in the other room. Can you stop yelling because you're freaking them out?
Everybody now is terrified. And they're like, this is what we do. Because it is.
Billy's
It's what
headbutting a
happens
wall
more
now because he
frequently.
doesn't know how to react.
Oh, my God. So, on the end, this was terrible, and this cop is a schmuck. Because
Wow.
he, for some reason, with all of his training, was never taught how to, in a decent way,
He
take
feared for
care
his
of
life.
someone
Get out, Jeffrey
with
card. I feared
no
for my
arms
life.
and no legs. It's like Lieutenant Dan,
I feared for my life.
but worse.
He feared for his life.
Oh,
True,
man.
true. I mean, maybe he has a biting phobia. Maybe he doesn't really like. Maybe he just has a fear of worms and snakes, and he was like, similar.
Maybe that boy had rabies and he knew it.
No.
Maybe when the trash can fell over, a bunch of toothpaste got in his mouth, and that's why he was yelling, and it looked like he had rabies. I don't know.
Maybe
Oh
he
my
rolled around
God.
in glue and thumbtacks and it was like, I'm sharp now.
He became,
Oh my Lord, this is so
he
bad.
became a porcupine. Is that what you're saying?
Never mind, the cop wouldn't have tackled him. That
That's
would have
true.
worked.
The cop would have been like, "Whoa, hey!" At that point, he probably would have shot him because he's a schmuck.
Oh man.
All right, now list all the things you have to list. Because I made 15 more since Friday.
Wait, what? 15.
All of the things you have to list now.
Oh my, okay, yeah, all right. Well, yeah, this is where we're gonna end. First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much to Cap Cee for joining us
Thank
in
you.
the ridiculousness that
You're
is the Rum
welcome.
Runnas Podcast. It was great getting to know
Thank you for having me.
Now, firstly, before we get into our spiel, what are you up to right now? Like, where can they get in contact with you?
Well, you can hit me up on Facebook. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram at Cap Cee, CAPCEE. You could see me. I'm everywhere. So just try to find me. You can find out where I'm DJing at. A couple of locations. I do
If
a
you're
lot
in
of
the Lehigh
private
Valley.
events. Yeah.
Is it just the Lehigh Valley, or do you go out further? Okay.
So a lot happening in the summer next year. So we're just getting ready for that. Just pre-planning ahead because there's a lot going to happen next year. Actually, here's the crazy part about next year. Do you know that every single holiday lands on the weekend?
Yes, I did hear that.
Yes. So it's going
Next
to
year's gonna be hype.
It's going to be insane.
Terrible for people that get off on the holidays.
They're gonna be mad.
But it's going to be insane. Like every party day is on a weekend. So it's nuts.
And I'm going to throw links to all of his socials and stuff like that
Yeah.
down in the description. So you guys will be able to, if you follow us, but don't follow Cap Cee, which I don't see why that would happen. But I mean,
Unlikely.
but if that is the case, just go into the description. I'll leave all the links. But thank you very much for joining us for another week of craziness. You can follow us right here on Facebook and Instagram at Rum Runners. We are also on Twitter now at Rum Pod right here. You can follow Kyle right there at Mr. Norwal on the Instagrams to see all of his stuff. You can also follow us in audio form on
Oh, man. Anchor FM, Spotify, Stitcher, Pod Chasers, and Breaker.
Bam.
Cool.
There
And
we
that's
go.
just search the Rum Runners Podcast.
There you go. For every single one of those, just search the Rum Runners Podcast. You will find us. Thank you very much for being here. Peace.
Peace.
Doses. We'll catch you in the next one.
Latros.
Bye.
It's all over. There's no place to run, even if we let you out of there. Don't do anything foolish.